Hi guys, I'm back with my first process video. If you like it, please press the like button, share with your friends, subscribe to my channel, or follow me on Instagram. To begin with, I was writing a novel at some point and I gave a lot of time to it. However, training in dance completely took my focus away and I could not finish the novel. But at the back of my mind, those characters always lived. I heard this music called Human by Sef Deliza around 2 years back, and I remember thinking that this is completely out of my league, and when will I possibly be able to dance to it? So, this music always reminded me of this character called Birdie from my book. And she was a very side character, she wasn't at all a main character. So, after my first reality TV experience recently, I heard the song again. I kept thinking about Birdie, and I thought that maybe if I work hard, I could bring Birdie to life. And this idea could really help me learn so much more about dance direction. So let's get started, and let me tell you all about who Birdie is, where she comes from, and why she does what she does. And for that, we need to start all the way from the Jabora forests. This is the map of the world that I had made, and the green area is the Jabora forest. So, our character belongs to this group of mutants called the Yunwa, which means always hungry. She is cold blooded and she cannot meet any human being. She's never had any contact. She hunts for food, she preys, and she cannot feel much emotion, and she has very strong predatory instincts. Interestingly, our character Birdie was abandoned as a newborn and was left at the foot of a tree and was found by a woman, which wasn't supposed to happen ever because the Yunwa prohibit it. And this woman raises Birdie like her own child, gives her love and affection, and in 2 years, Birdie is a fully grown Yunwa. This, of course, is a story in a nutshell. Now, one day, three Yunwa males find Birdie living with this woman, and they, of course, kill the woman in the first instant. And Birdie at this point is unable to process this loss. She isn't even sure if she feels something. Now, Birdie is presented in front of the Yunwa goddess, who is absolutely mad at why a Yunwa was ever found with a human being. She decides to punish Birdie by giving her a massive scar, and now Birdie, of course, feels physical pain. So she's sent away to kill more human beings to prove her loyalty. Birdie goes to a set of mountains where a tiny human civilization exists. She sees these human beings and feels a connection. She secretly watches them, and she doesn't know what that connection is or where it comes from, but it keeps growing inside of her. And she ends up protecting them instead of killing them and reporting them to the goddess. Being around humans makes her remember her mother, and she lives in a cave near those mountains with very sparse light, and she feels the connection every day growing inside of her. She hunts, she doesn't shift from her nature, but inside the cave, she keeps trying to convince herself that she is also a human, and she realizes she cannot hurt them, and all she wants to be is a human. So, we were looking at a character piece that had no storyline in front of the camera and so much backstory behind it. And it came from a novel that I had given up on a few years back. It was so flustering to even imagine this, and I thought it's better to give up. And even when things started coming together, I felt this is all so ridiculous and I won't be able to do this. So, let me straight away take you to my mood board for this. For some reason, this character was bald every time I imagined her. And for those who know me, you know I love my hair. I have never danced without my hair or even imagined myself bald. So it was very important to remember the characteristics of Birdie at all times. She was scared, she was wary of her surroundings, she was extremely dangerous, and most importantly, she was lonely, which is pretty much the life of a wild animal. They're scared, they're wary, they're very dangerous, and they're lonely. And it brings us to a beautiful fact that we all are lonely, and it scares us as human beings, but to animals, it's pretty normal. So let's talk about the look that was created for this piece. We had to eliminate a lot of looks that had a clear reference to an animal or were ogling. We also had to eliminate a lot of looks that were too much fashion or beauty. So finally, we came to the look with a bald head, with a natural red looking skin, and the chain to depict bondage. Once I was clear about the internal state of the character, I started creating movement with her mind being at the base of it all. With her brief sketch being in my mind, it was easier to not have the movement dilute the character. I studied vultures and eagles to understand the movement of their neck and their eyes, how they're so attentive towards their prey, and I found something so incredible. When they lose the fight for the carcass, they come into a position like this, and that denotes their loss and defeat, and it fits so perfectly with my character because so much about her was lost and feeling defeated was the constant in her life. She was trying so hard to feel included into a section of beings that was so obviously not like her. She was not a human being and she was convincing herself that she is. And getting up from that position meant something to me. Now, the trickiest shots were the transition shot and the whip scene. I named it the whip scene because the sound in the music sounded like really painful whips. So they both were one take shots, and the transition shot needed the light to move above my head, while the whip scene needed the camera person to run. So the first one was the transition shot. So we created this template at home first. I began carrying the torch around my head while I sat on the stool and performed the scene. ये इतना बहुत है और थोड़ा दूर बस you have to bend now. And this is how it turned out in the video. Then there was the whip scene where I was supposed to stand not facing the camera while the camera was supposed to move from behind me and first catch the back bend right at the backside and then go all the way to my front 45 and catch another projection with the arms. Mixed with another shot where the camera was going to slowly pan from my front and go right into my eyes where I project something flat or front. And this is how it turned out. I ended up realizing that it's a different thing to imagine something, but it's a completely different ball game to achieve in practicality what we are thinking of. And this process made me understand so much about dance direction, about what I want to project through movement, why I want to project it like that, and how important is the story to me, and what places I can compromise on, and what places I cannot compromise on. So I really wanted to make this process video for this space human because I know that in today's time everything is permanent because it's online, and I really wish I could get my notes from 10 years back when I used to train with myself so hard, but I can't have them even though I can see some videos that I uploaded. So I made this video for record's sake because I know very well that 10 years down the line I will be probably able to see just my video, but I will lose all the data about how I made this, what I tried, what I didn't, what I discarded, what I kept, and how I discussed everything with my team. So thank you for watching this, and if you are here, which I don't think you are, and if you've finally made to this point of this video, then please type the code word Jabora Forest in the comments and let me know you're listening. All in all, this video process made me understand so much about dance direction, about what I want to project with my movement and why I want to project it like that, and what are the angles I'm looking for and what I don't want. In all honesty, it made me understand myself more as a human being, as a person who wants to create and share the love for what we do.